और पता नहीं अंदर भी गर्मी कम होगी कि नहीं होगी। ये कालखंड एक प्रकार से बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। ये आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव का कालखंड है। 15 अगस्त का विशेष महत्व है और आने वाले 25 साल के लिए देश जब शताब्दी मनाएगा तो हमारी 25 साल की यात्रा कैसी रहे, हम कितनी तेज गति से चले, कितनी नई ऊंचाइयों को पार करें, इसके संकल्प लेने का एक कालखंड है। और उन संकल्पों के प्रति समर्पित होकर के देश को दिशा देना, सदन देश का नेतृत्व करे, सदन के सभी माननीय सदस्य राष्ट्र में नई ऊर्जा भरने के लिए निमित्त बने, उस अर्थ में ये सत्र भी बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। ये सत्र इसलिए भी महत्वपूर्ण है कि इसी समय राष्ट्रपति पद और उपराष्ट्रपति पद के चुनाव हो रहे हैं। आज मतदान भी हो रहा है और इसी कालखंड में देश को नए राष्ट्रपति, नए उपराष्ट्रपति, उनका मार्गदर्शन प्रारंभ होगा। हम हमेशा सदन को संवाद का एक सक्षम माध्यम मानते हैं, तीर्थ क्षेत्र मानते हैं, जहां खुले मन से संवाद हो, जरूरत पड़े तो वाद विवाद हो, आलोचना भी हो, बहुत उत्तम प्रकार का एनालिसिस करके चीजों का बारीकियों से विश्लेषण हो, ताकि नीति और निर्णयों में बहुत ही सकारात्मक योगदान हो सके। मैं सभी आदरणीय सांसदों से यही आग्रह करूंगा कि गहन चिंतन, गहन चर्चा, उत्तम चर्चा और सदन को हम जितना ज्यादा प्रोडक्टिव बना सके, सदन को जितना ज्यादा फ्रूटफुल बना सके, उसलिए सबका सहयोग हो और सबके प्रयास से ही लोकतंत्र चलता है, सबके प्रयास से ही सदन चलता है, सबके प्रयास से ही सदन उत्तम निर्णय करता है। और इसलिए सदन की गरिमा बढ़ाने के लिए भी हम सब अपने कर्तव्यों का निर्वाह करते हुए इस सत्र का राष्ट्रहित में सर्वाधिक उपयोग करें और हर पल याद रखें कि आजादी के लिए जिन्होंने अपनी जवानी खपा दी, अपना जीवन खपा दिया, जिंदगी जेलों में काटी, कुछ ने शहादत स्वीकार की, उनके सपनों को ध्यान में रखते हुए और जब 15 अगस्त सामने है तब सदन का सर्वाधिक सकारात्मक उपयोग हो, यही मेरी सबसे प्रार्थना है। आप सबका भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Prime Minister Modi there speaking in Parliament House just before the monsoon session of Parliament is to begin at 11 a.m. and he has told the opposition, let's discuss and debate every issue and it remains to be seen whether the heat inside is less than and reflecting perhaps the temperature going down outside as well. So, Pallavi, want Parliament to be a place of discussion and debate. That is the message that is coming from the Prime Minister. Let the monsoon session be productive.
Yes, and in fact, he also talked in the context of the Independence Day of 15 August, saying that those dreams, the fights and aspirations of those who fought for the freedom of our country, they should be remembered all the more, so that whatever debate, discussions, analysis, he said even it's a place for criticism, all of it must be done in a fruitful manner so that it reflects on our policies, on the decisions of the government, and whatever decision really comes out of Parliament. Look, this is a normal routine appeal which is often made by the Prime Minister every time any session begins. We also know when the session actually goes full on, this appeal often is used on deaf ears, so to say, because the opposition parties also feel that they have every right, and rightfully so, to raise their voice, to make issues about what they feel strongly about. In fact, even as we speak, multiple notices for discussion of the Agnipath scheme have been given. And what the Prime Minister stressed on is that don't have rancor, don't have bitterness. What you really need to do is that all of you need to get together, fight together, and also ensure that the House runs. And this session, he also said, is particularly important because the election of the President and the Vice President is taking place.
Yes, and in the next few minutes, we'll be getting the first visuals of the Prime Minister going to cast his vote for the presidential polls. And then there will be a core committee meeting of the BJP where top ministers will be meeting the Prime Minister to discuss the floor strategy. And on the opposition side, there will be another meeting to discuss the opposition strategy. But Pallavi, you know, usually the soundbite that we are seeing, customary as it may, usually takes place around 10:15, 10:30 before the session begins. It's happened right now, so we can get those visuals perhaps of the Prime Minister going to exercise his vote for the presidential elections.
Yes, and I think he would also want to be one of the first ones to cast their vote, and voting begins at around 10 a.m., which means just another 15 minutes of time. So the Prime Minister, who was flanked by the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, has walked away. He's gone to his office, and after that, we expect him to go up. And we've been seeing those pictures. Preparations are on. 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. is the time really when those elections take place. So the choice is very simple for those who have not got to see the election procedure. You know, you have any member of Parliament, MLAs, of course, do have the right to exercise their vote, both inside Parliament and also in the respective state assemblies. In some cases, that's what's happening. In Bengal, for example, I can say it's happening in the MPs have decided to vote in the Bengal assembly. So, you know, voting also will become a way of scoring their political points.
Yes.
And I think the Prime Minister stressed on the fact is that we also must remember that today is an important day because we are voting for the President. But today is also an important day because the monsoon session begins with a plethora of agenda. And it's important that the opposition and the government see eye to eye on many of these policy matters.
Yes, and those are the visuals of Prime Minister's cavalcade, in fact, entering the Parliament House. That's minutes before he came and he gave that sound bite in which he reached out to the opposition, saying that there's need for dialogue and discussion. Let there be a healthy monsoon session, not rancor, no bitterness between Treasury benches and opposition. Today, a number of suspension motion that has been given by opposition, notices of suspending discussion in the House has been given to do with the Agnipath scheme. And Pallavi, talking specifically about the Agnipath scheme, a number of political parties want discussion on it, but we are also seeing how the government would certainly quote the number of applications, Arundhata, that the government, be it the Indian Air Force or the Indian Army or the Indian Navy has received ever since the application process began.
Well, see, Maria, clarification has come from all the ranks from in the government, on the Agnipath scheme. And in fact, when that, all-party meeting happened yesterday, opposition parties raised around 17 issues, and of course including Agnipath, on which they wanted discussion in the parliament. And in fact, yesterday, Prahlad Joshi had also said that they are ready to discuss those issues if chair allows in the parliament. In fact, Prime Minister Modi also reiterating the stand that they are, very much in favor of, a civilized and a fruitful debate in the parliament. And that's something for which people have sent these MPs to the parliament to, make legislations for the welfare of the people. And Prime Minister Modi, in fact, talking on those lines, that how important parliament is and what is the role of parliament, and we all have to understand the role of the parliament, and therefore the fruitful discussion is very, very important. Opposition parties have made it very clear that they will not let go any opportunities in the parliament to discuss those issues which they have spoken about, the inflation, Agnipath scheme, and also various other issues. So we must expect fiery session as it begins today, and Prime Minister's the initial speech, which always happens before the Parliament commences. So we'll have to see as to how things go inside the Parliament. But of course, Prime Minister Modi setting the tone for the Parliament session.
All right, Arun, thank you so much for joining us. We are slipping into a short break. After that, we will be going back to our top story, that is the presidential polls. And Prime Minister casting his vote at 10 a.m. Those first shots will be coming in from the Parliament of India, Chief Ministers of various states and MPs of regional parties casting their votes in those state assemblies. All those visuals will start coming in from 10 a.m. So stay with us.